Welcome back to the channel. So at the risk of maybe getting 2 views on this video, since I'm not going to be discussing anything fun like gear or stuff like that, but what I wanted to do is discuss something that is arguably just as important, if not more important, and that is the ability to coach the expression on your subjects in front of your camera. We can have the fanciest cameras, the fanciest lenses, the best lighting, but if our subject has like a completely deadpan face, or even worse, a deer in the headlights type look in front of our camera, all of that is going to go to waste because the image is going to look terrible. So it is part of our jobs, and a big part of our jobs, to be that for those of us who work with people, to be able to coach the expressions out of our subjects to go along with all the fancy gear and lighting, so we have that complete image by the end of the day that makes our subjects, us, and our clients all happy with the results. And it's probably the hardest part of our job, if you ask me, being somewhat of an introvert and having to take myself out of my comfort zone to try to put someone else in their comfort zone, where we kind of feel like we have something going between us, where the camera is somewhat removed from the equation, and they just feel so comfortable on set that I'm able to get the expressions I need. That is a really hard thing to do, but it's something that we just, is part of the job if you want to do this at a high level. And I feel like, kind of going along with that comfort, the other aspect, the other probably most important aspect, is just gaining the trust in our subject. And I thought I would just run through some steps that I've found over the years that have worked for me in all these cases, in the efforts to get these images that my clients are happy with, and then continue to hire me to do these types of images, so this type of work. So the first thing that I find is important is to try to find a connection with who I'm working with. And it can be, you might have 5 minutes with this individual, or you can have a couple hours based off of what kind of shoot this is. And the shorter the time frame, the harder it is, but you've got to somewhat figure out a way to get them to feel comfortable in front of your camera. And I'm showing some pictures of like Russell Westbrook, who I've worked with in the past, and he's got a reputation, I guess, of not being the most easy guy to work with. And I was told this by my client before the photo shoot, so I knew that I needed to find some kind of a connection for this photo shoot to be successful. And I do research on most of the folks that I work with in this capacity, just so I'm up to speed on who they are, what they do, maybe some things that have happened currently. If they're an athlete like this, maybe they've had a couple of good games, and I'll make not fan style comments, but more professional kind of discourse between the two of us, just letting them know that I know who they are, and I'm just not just there to take their picture, and that I'm invested in what we're doing there that day. And so I remember with him, he had just had a kid, and I just had a kid, maybe a little bit older than his, but I could still relate to those sleepless nights and those types of things. So I made a couple of comments. We had some banter back and forth about how much sleep he was losing at night and that type of thing. And so that kind of gave us a bridge into the photo shoot, and I was able to, we really had a great time during the whole process of the shoot, and got some great results. So that's kind of the main thing to start with, is forming that connection with who you're working with. And another tool for that is to have maybe some mood boards, either on your phone, your iPad, your computer, printed out, that you can show who you're going to work with. And that gives them kind of a head start. And I've talked about this before on here on a dedicated video about mood boards and how important I feel they are for successful photo shoots. So don't be hesitant to bring some mood boards, just to show who you're working with, where you're wanting to go in the photo shoot. And then on top of that, so once you kind of get those 2 steps covered, hopefully, it's more about your energy and energy on set. If you're anxious, if you're nervous, that energy is going to translate over to who you're working with. And so we have to cancel all that out and do our best to make things upbeat, easygoing, kind of feel their energy, what they're connecting with, and build on that to keep them as comfortable as possible in front of your camera. So that is a huge step as well. And then I find during that process, depending on who I'm working with, if it's a model or even a athlete, getting them kind of in their posing Sometimes these folks are professionals and they're easy to work with. They kind of go right into it and you can have an easy day of it. But some of those times when we have more, I guess, amateur talent in front of our camera, it's going to be more work on us. But I've found if you can get them into their comfort zone, so if it's an athlete, find out what position they play. Get them kind of in that headspace to where, you know, they set up on a field and get their body kind of in tune with what normally goes on in a game, and then try to navigate that up to their headspace, and all in the effort to get them comfortable. And then you work that expression, just try to get them in the frame of mind to where they are actually in that game, and you start taking pictures and everything kind of starts coming together. And then with that, when you're starting to take those pictures, in this day and age, I remember back in the film days where we would, you know, the kind of general rule was you're going to throw out the first 2 rolls of film because it takes a minute to get things warmed up between you and your subject. But this day and age, we've got either computers we're tethered to, or we have the LCD on the back of our cameras that we can instantly give feedback, visual feedback to who we're working with. And that can be a great tool to kind of show them exactly what's going on, show them what's working, what isn't maybe working, and kind of where you're directing them, and just give them a sense of the whole process. And it's this collaboration of kind of, you know, teamwork making the dream work happen with these images. And then when you get to that sweet spot during your shoot, it's a matter of just keeping that energy up so you can kind of get this flow going between you and your subject, and where they're having fun and you're having fun and the images are coming across. If you got clients on set, they're enjoying watching the whole process, and it just turns out to be a great experience for everyone that's there. And that is the ultimate goal when it comes to doing this. So I just wanted to jump on here. I see images all the time where I can kind of pick out and see where maybe someone wasn't completely comfortable in front of someone's camera. And I've seen a couple, I guess, here recently. And so I just wanted to jump on here, make this video as kind of a reminder for myself, as well as hopefully helping some of y'all out there that struggle with this, because it is, to me, it's the most difficult part. We can all, you know, get these fancy tools and lights and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's the easy part, but being able to work with talent on our set, that is another level. And the better we can do that, the better our images are going to be at the end of the day. So if you feel like this video has been worthy, please give me that thumbs up. That helps with the YouTube algorithm on here. If you want to see more content just like this, hit that subscribe button down there and the little bell, so YouTube will let you know when I'm back on here. In the meantime, y'all can find me on social media over at quantzphoto on Instagram and ProLight Mods over on Instagram. Please stay safe and healthy out there, and I will see you again in the next one.